We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxing Ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Wow. Meet with me is mad. Anthony Joshua reportedly willing to accept 15 million pounds to step aside to allow for another heavyweight fight between there's only one Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. Right? We're gonna talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. Now, link will be in the description. Make sure you guys check that out. The Telegraph Sport. Gareth Davies is a UK reporter, and it says Anthony Joshua to accept 15 million pounds. Meet with me to step aside for Tyson Fury Alexander Usyk fight. And this is the report. So again, the link will be in the description. Breaking news. And this is saying that Joshua has agreed to sit this one out. Very interesting news. Now, Bob Arum was kind of talking about this. The idea of Anthony Joshua stepping aside and authorizing Tyson Fury and Usyk for undisputed. Now, I haven't really given it much thought because Joshua had already enacted the rematch clause to rematch Usyk. But this could be true, seeing how there's no actual announcement for Joshua Usyk as far as where they're going to fight, what's the exact date and whatnot. But that's what's being reported. And this is also coming from the UK. It's not like it's from an American boxing source. It's from somebody who has exclusive interviews with Tyson Fury and, you know, is on the UK scene. So I don't know where they're getting the information. But if this is true, and I have to just say it speculatively because this is the only report that I've seen that suggests this. If this is true, this looks extremely bad for Anthony, meet with me, Joshua, because one is the heavyweight division. Do you understand the ramifications and the consequences if Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, oh my God, if Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder would have done what Joshua could be doing here and stepping aside? And the funny thing with old media is that's in fact what they told you that Deontay Wilder was going to do. So you had, in Wilder's case, you had people lying on Deontay Wilder's name, suggesting that Wilder wanted to step aside. Tyson Fury, he's one of the people that was putting that information out. He says this joker wanted $20 million to step aside. What a clown. So people ran with it. You know, media ran with it. Old media ran with it. Fans ran and said, oh, haha, Ego, your boy Deontay Wilder, he's chicken. He really doesn't want to fight Tyson Fury. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense based on the fact that Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, oh my God, right? Why would he go through a mediation and court proceedings and litigations and arbitrations trying to corner Tyson Fury? And Tyson Fury was doing everything under the sun, saying that ship has sailed and we're not waiting for Deontay Wilder, and, you know, acting oblivious like the main issue wasn't the pandemic. And I'm like, why would Wilder be going through the court system and a contractual arbitration process if he really just wanted to not fight Tyson Fury? Now, although Wilder did fight Tyson Fury, he got what he wanted and he lost, you know, and that's just the luck of the draw. He put up a hell of a fight, and I think people respect him for it. So I cannot wait, if this is true, to see if old media keeps that same energy, right? KTSE, keep, that's my new acronym. KTSE, write that down. Keep that same energy. because where I'm sitting, that looks bad for Anthony Joshua to have put out all these interviews saying he doesn't need to switch his team up, but he may bring somebody aboard. But he was like, yeah, Rob McCracken, I'm not going to lose, and he said too much. I don't care what nobody says. Anthony Joshua has said too much. Anthony Joshua has claimed that he's going to get the belts back from. That's why I was taken back. I don't really get surprised in the sport of boxing because I've covered boxing for double-digit years. And at this point, nothing really surprises me. But I was a bit taken back based on the fact that I just remember seeing recent posts and captions from Anthony Joshua, and he was talking about how Joshua was saying how he's going to get back the belts from Usyk, and people have written him off, but he's hungry and stay working, and all these fortune cookie quotes that he's famous for, and that he was going to beat Joshua. So this news coming directly out of the UK, it is a bit surprising because Joshua, he hasn't said anything like this, and he's age 32. And what does that say about Anthony Joshua? Right? What does that say about Anthony Joshua if he's really willing to take? Now, the amount of money that, that's a large chunk of change. So someone would make that argument. If he's getting paid $15 million to step aside, some people would argue, hey, anyone would do that. But it's funny because boxing is full of fakeness. And in certain scenarios, you have people who say, oh, no, I want to see Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence, and nothing else matters. They don't want to hear nothing else. They don't care about all the facts that I present. They just say, who cares? The best versus the best. This is the fight we need. And they're not receptive to any other notion other than who cares, make it happen. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. And then now when it's somebody that you want to protect, like Anthony Joshua, if this is true, come back and say like, oh, now it's not about the best versus the best, and it's funny because all of this is coming down heavily on old media because old media told us so many lies. They told us almost a year straight that Wilder was out. He was out of the picture, and Joshua and Fury were fighting in Saudi Arabia. They had the money down pat. They were going to make a killing in Saudi Arabia. They had allegedly a date and venues and fielded all these offers, all that for Wilder to win the arbitration, fight Fury a third time. And now they're saying that it's something different. You know what I mean? And I remember this process, and we're not going to let up on my channel. I remember this whole timepiece where people lied on Wilder's name, said, oh, he wants step aside money. And everyone from his team said that's not anything he said. So I don't understand why people would lie on Wilder's name. And Wilder told you this in many interviews. He said people rather be first than to be accurate. People want to, be the first to break the news and clickbait this and click this and get views. But at the end of the day, the information is bad. And people put that stigma on Wilder, and Wilder showed you his character. No matter if he decides to retire, if he wants to keep fighting, if he wants a farewell fight, if he wants to fight for 10 more years, it doesn't matter. Wilder is deserving of a lot of respect because when he could have made different decisions, like the only guy so far that has been able to beat him is Tyson Fury. And this is like a guy who could box, long arms, outweighing him in the second and third fight by 50, 60 pounds, long reach and stuff like that. So maybe that's just a style that was always bound to give him problems, in some capacity. But Wilder, he could have allegedly, if he sought that, if he wasn't the character that he is, he could have said, nah, I want 15 million, 20 million, step aside. But his integrity, his legacy, and his self-belief in wanting to fight Tyson Fury and get what he was owed contractually, his principles were at the precipice of his decision making. So me as a man, I have to respect a fellow alpha male for making that decision, even though the fight did not play out how he imagined or how he wanted, because I know he didn't think he was gonna lose to Fury again or get knocked out, but I still respect it because this is boxing. So I can't wait for the shapeshifters to get on wax and start trying to defend Anthony Joshua, AJ, because Eddie Hearn, you know, and they like him and like AJ, but they were lying saying Wilder's character was this. And then, I mean, I could go so deep. This is just my videos, they're freestyles. I'm the best in the business and this is easy, but I have so many different points I can make. So I'll probably split it into different videos. But here's another angle. When Wilder was waiting for the arbitration outcome to try to land the Tyson Fury third fight, Joshua did an interview in between when both Fury and Wilder were inactive. And Joshua made a comment that Wilder's not an elite fighter. All he got is one punch and one right hand, etc. And then Joshua would lose again to a different, shorter fighter. The first time was Ruiz, and then the second time was Usyk. So it's like Joshua said all that only to lose to somebody who really didn't even put up great performances in the weight class. His best work was at cruiserweight up until the Joshua performance. His first two fights with Derek Chisora and the Chaz Tablespoon, though those were really forgettable performances. His best work was against Joshua, where he convincingly won and stepped up and rose to the occasion. So it's funny that Joshua was saying Wilder is not elite. But one thing, again, you can't take away from Wilder. If this is true, Wilder got a heart the size of Alabama. And if Joshua did decide to step aside for money to allow, that shows me a bit more about his temperament and a bit more about his character, because Usyk is a tricky style. And even if Tyson Fury would probably be the favorite because he's bigger, I don't know, you know, that's just speculation and conjecture. But if Tyson Fury does fight Usyk, that looks like Joshua is waiting to see the outcome and hoping Tyson Fury wins, and, you know, rather deal with maybe Tyson Fury's style than Usyk's style. But it doesn't relieve you of the fact that you lost to Usyk. You see what I'm saying? So I think it would be a better idea to do what he did with the Ruiz fight. And you got to make that and draw that comparison. How was it when you lost to Ruiz, you felt like hell-bent to prove to the world that you could beat him, and then now against Usyk, everyone's like, hey, this is bad for your career. And maybe those conversations or those doubts or worries crept in from fans, and then Joshua was looking at it like, man, I could just stay at home and watch the outcome and then hopefully fight the winner and give myself time to prepare, right? Joshua was quoted as saying previously, quote, I've come up short twice, but the majority of times I have overcome many obstacles. Next fight, I'm going to beat him, Usyk, and I'm going to take those belts from him, and I'm going to regain and become a 3-time heavyweight champion of the world, whether people like it or not. So this news is just out of nowhere. So if Joshua said all that, say, hey, I'm going to be 3-time champion, you know, it's so nice I had to do it twice or whatever he be saying, right? And then now he wants to step aside for Tyson Fury or Usyk. Props to them, but that's a bad look for Joshua. Subscribe to the channel. We unpack. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.